Okay. So we have some ministers here. You have Minister of Culture, Youth and Sport, some other folks on the government side waiting on the Vice President to come.
Let me talk about them things. Are you sure? You can wear a custom stuff.
Kashi from Shanghai out here.
Are you sure? All them REO, DO, we're doing nonsense. Are you sure? Are you sure? Kevin Shanghai, are you sure? That's the kind of leader.
These are the people who are selling out their community. Matt Robinson here, Minister of Culture and Sport with his cultural team of sport people. This is kind of a bribe.
One thing I tell you, Ramson, why you telling that show inside? You can I am ashamed. I say you represent me on me. I do not represent step aside.
Shame on you! Shame!
Tell him to do another thing and resign.
Who is BBB rapist? Who is BBB rapist?
I am disrespectful to us. I am still coming in here. You're still coming in here. Without shame. And you're smiling. And you're laughing. When you talk about rape, you're laughing. It is funny as a government minister is accused of rape not once, not twice, not thrice.
And that's the only
He's
one.
a serial rapist, apparently.
The only one. They have many more.
Y'all have respect for ordinary people.
They have many more, not the only one.
Y'all have any respect for ordinary people. I asked him questions, minister. I'm a citizen of this country. I can't get answers. Minister.
Charles Robinson turned his back to the protesters. He cannot face the protesters.
Junior Minister Robinson.
Got back. I hear Ramson say a word. I hear Ramson say a word, but the minister that been accused of rape. I don't say a word as a young man. None of y'all as a young man. Therefore, all y'all condoling it. Y'all love it. Such a rapist. You can get justice. Young man, y'all can't buy them out. You can get justice. Election will come 2025. We can get it.
Minister Robinson, you're turning your back on me. I can't talk to you as a citizen. Minister Robinson is turning his back on me because I can't talk to him. As a citizen with concerns in this country. No, colleague. Who is a political appointed person as a minister, a political head of an agency. think that it's okay to go and administratively like this. He is a part of the public service. Like the public service is appointed. No other part of the world that is Dubai, minister, that don't happen. He would have had to resign, be fired, and if he is free, he would have been reinstated. That's how y'all treat this nation. When people talk to y'all, y'all turn your backs on them. It is a perfect analogy to what y'all do to this country. When we the citizens express our concern, you turn your backs on us. That is y'all. Thank you for showing up literally today. Turn your back on the nation. That is what you do.
After she just moved on the stomach.
The minister told you back on the question from his citizens.
Minister, don't talk up your foot. Don't talk up your foot and your pants and boss.
And you say you beg. And you is a role model. Expose from I talking to you, asking me question and he's talking about. First minister, what about our community center, bro? When are we going to get it?
Leave that over too. We can't use the community center.
The incentive land. You can't use the community center, bro.
We can't even keep forts out there no more. No, when it's not because we can't use it because of stuff like that,
For all sports to be children. And that's what the Jews athlete.
They invade our privacy.
How we
They invade our privacy. Imagine that. And then tell me that we can't go there. We can't play fucking music. They can't do nothing. Invade our privacy.
Sports minister. I'm talking to you about sports minister. Let us talk about sports. You are the minister of sports. You can't stand turning your back, minister.
What you know about running?
Okay. You want to talk about oil, minister? Since that is your qualification, minister, and just your refusal to be the ministry. You want to talk about oil? The store? China's like an ever-rolling storm.
What time is that?
Minister, he's talking I know.
We want a community center.
Because you have the Minister, why is it that your government is running against the citizens? Minister, tell me why you're using my taxpayer dollar to go against me.
The people come from the
We're talking to the minister.
I want you to look at all the faces there. Look at them.
Tell me about the raping minister, man. When I do it, I'm suddenly fucking inside. That's what I want to know. Learn your history and don't come around here funny. Yeah, that's disrespectful. Very disrespectful. That is who we all are. You can bring the whole armory. We don't care. Let's have this not for Plaisance is not for everything you can go there. No, they can't go there. You can't go there. You can walk right up there. Plaisance is still not the same. That is not ordinary that we can tell you. That's respect to the people that are the ordinary people who y'all don't care about. You want to stay in Boston? I go to the Lord. That's the problem with the working family. I don't care to tell you people there. But what are these communities? You give contracts to the same fucking money. People like Delva bring them death with them. From 8 o'clock to 12 o'clock. What you bring into this village, the crosses that you bring into this village, I thought I warned you, Delvar. Me. Family here. Right. The main body taking long for come. Sheila taking long for come. Sheila come. Where's Sheila there? Sheila! Sheila come out! Sheila! Where's Sheila there? Sheila, we want Sheila! Let me take out Sheila panties. We want Sheila! As an advocate for women, it's not for them, it's not only the salon, it's not for them.
We have another minister arriving. I think the minister in the Ministry of Public Works, I think, just arrived in there.
And a colleague who disrespect other women inside of the parliament. Your colleague who disrespect other women in the parliament as you sat there because we were both there that day. And now he's accused of not rape once, twice, nor thrice. How do you feel sitting there and knowing that he's not resigning or nobody is firing him as an advocate for women as I know you to be? I know you to be as an advocate for women. What are you doing? Have you called on him to resign as a colleague, advising him about how women feel in these circumstances?
Hello. Plaisance.
Correct is right, but guess what? In Bartico, a man was accused and he was jailed immediately. He didn't get bail. Is it because he's a minister of government, he's above the law, and should be treated differently? Station bail never go for over $300,000. He could have get 1 million bail in 4 hours because he got the money. We know that when $1 million is nothing to him. We know that because he forked out 10 million one time. You must call out these things. You need to call out your minister to resign. I hear. Are you coming to your office because this is public knowledge? We could talk about it anyway.
All right, I think the vice president has just arrived. Let's see what's going to happen here now. Jack Dio has just arrived. There he is.
Jack your boss, go! Jack your boss!
When the ministers of Granger or Nagamutu come here after the 21st of March, you say to them, walk behind them, chase them out, they're going to be illegal. Say to them, you're illegal. Free up the country, you're undemocratic. They're going to face a different situation right across the country.
When they come to the communities, whether it is in Bordeaux or Essequibo,
Hello. Go in, go in. Go in. Go in, go in. Go in, man.
Imported people who will benefit, from the meeting, not the imported people that are brought. Plaisance need to benefit.
They're locking the gate. They're locking the gate. They're locking the gate.
So what are we doing about?
Push them down. Open the gate. I
go in, push them.
So they're not allowing
Why are you? Why are you allowing the villagers to go in? Why are you allowing the villagers to go in? Jack your move! Why are you Jack your move? Watch you! You're not giving people
So what's happening? They have invited special persons to be a part of the meeting and not the people of Plaisance. And that is a big problem right now because the villagers are saying they are supposed to be there because the discussion is about them. It's not about the people that they invited, it's about the people of Plaisance. So the police and other bodyguards are preventing the villagers from going in.
Imagine this a public meeting and they're blocking off the gate talking about rioting. Who is blocking the gate? Who is blocking the gate?
I'm a businessman right down there. Yes, I am a resident. I am a resident. I go pretty
It's a public meeting.
So that's what's happening out there. The villagers who supposed to be in that meeting to hear what's supposed to be discussed, they're not getting to go in.
Let me explain to the Guyanese public what is happening at a meeting that was called for the public by public figures. The second vice president of this country, the minister of sports, B. Sheila, and other PPP officials and government officials who would have called a public meeting have now decided that they will pick and choose and lock off the gate and say people are rioting because they don't want people who will ask the real questions in that meeting. So public figures are now allowed to refuse citizens from talking to them while we pay them. That is what is happening in the village of Plaisance. At what time is this? At 6:29 on the 27th of June, 2023. That is what is happening. That is the level of disrespect this government continues to show for ordinary citizens. That is the one Guyana they talk about. Because whether they go to certain villages and persons are disgruntled, nobody don't lock them out of a gate.
So your community could be next.
And I want Guyanese to understand we are seeing this over and over again. We saw Moko, we saw Hillfoot, we saw the Georgetown vendors, and the list is continuing.
The diamond vendors.
But you know why? As Guyanese, we are not standing up for each other. Because when a problem occurs, we say, oh, that's not my problem. There's somebody else's problem. And this is why we're in the state that we are. The same government who took away ancestral land and built fancy houses and call it Pradoville 2. The biggest squatters this country has. The same man who took away the community center ground in Plaisance
is in there.
And they're locking us out. We can't ask questions. That is the disrespect. So when I was asking questions on the road, thank God I did, because I wouldn't get any questions answered inside there, because the government is disrespectful to ordinary Guyanese. I am from the village of Plaisance, so they can't tell me that I shouldn't be there. My family is from Plaisance. So they have decided they can choose who goes in.
That's what's going on at the gate. They're choosing people, picking and choosing who they want to go in. There.
But why you got to hold on to the resident of Plaisance? That's the resident of Plaisance. Why do you want to lock her out? We are residents. Why are you locking them out? They are residents. Why are you locking them out?
Because you don't want nobody else to go in there. You know what he's saying. That's why they're locking them out.
Why are you locking them out?
We don't fool.
No. Why are you locking them out?
That's what's going on.
Why are you locking them out? Why are you locking them out?
Chief, come back to my
But I wonder why you locking them out.
The main aim is to keep it quiet.
So, as you can see exactly what we're talking about here, that they locked the main gate to the school, preventing the vendors and residents of Plaisance from not going in there. So this is the state that we are in this country, where villagers cannot speak their mind in a meeting that's supposed to be public. They cannot ask questions. They're picking and choosing people who should go in and have the meeting with the vice president, second vice president. So that's what's happening in Plaisance right now. As you can see, the level of security out here, villagers standing by, watching. Everybody watching.
You supposed to get some dry shit. They're in the wrong place.
So that's what's happening in Plaisance right now.
They're in the wrong place.
Plaisance, you gotta defend your community. That's what going on. That's what's going on in there.
Ready. And nobody can stop it. If Plaisance people don't know the bad plans I want, you best get a grip of yourself.
If Miss Grippy at them side, you would never got it there.
The bad plans they want is the bad plans.
You can't go in there. I gotta go left. That is the ancestors' land. Who you mean the supporters?
Only who support them down in there push out everybody else.
And this was all the grievance that we can't win there.
All them days it was bad doing slavery time. It was bad doing slavery time. During slavery time, all these days it was bad doing slavery time.
Stop support court. Stop supporting. All of them was selling a Guinness bar wedding. Thursday night come. Y'all stop. They allow we in. They push all we out and allow we in. I don't care where the business is, this are in between. All we villagers and all we supposed to go in there. Where we're going on in there. By the end of the day, if they put the phone out there, if people children go down. Everybody doing that stuff with it not said. They got it back there with a gun on the building hospital. What is going on?
The council's nowhere in there.
They push out
The council's nowhere in there to represent the villagers. Nowhere in there to represent the villagers. They want the council. They don't want the council. The council is supposed to represent the village. Why you want the man going inside there? Why you want the man going inside there?
Very important sentiments raised by the villagers. That even the council is not in that meeting. Oh, this is going to be serious times, not only here in Plaisance, but this could be a replica to other villages.
All right, just in case you are now joining, this is a live, this is happening live right now in the village of Plaisance, where dictator Jack Deere, who's the second vice president, behaving as though he's a bully in that country, and we a bully in that country. At some point in time, people will have to stand up in their numbers to stop the bullying. It's got to stop, and we got to say kudos to the folks out there in Plaisance. They came out in their numbers. I do hope more can go out and chase these vagabonds out of Plaisance. They don't belong in Plaisance. They've got to be out of Plaisance. This is ridiculous. This has never been seen before, and oftentimes we need real soldiers on the ground. And I say this not out of any disrespect to those brave soldiers who are there right now, who are standing up to those vagabonds. Something has got to give. And Jack Deere cannot go around the country feeling as comfortable as he is recently. It has got to stop. And I really do mean it. It has got to stop. We see the likes of Kashif. We see the likes of Ramson turning his behind, showcasing what is left of his butt to the audience, to disrespecting the people there of Plaisance, turning his butt, cannot respond properly. And so he put his butt up for sale. Let's say to Ramson and the likes, I'm not sure that the people in Plaisance want his butt or want to see his butt. They just do not. It's a shame and a disgrace. This Plaisance is just a couple minutes away from Georgetown. I'm not going to call any MP out. I'm not going to call anyone out, but just to say that were I an MP, I would have already been there on the spot. Story done. There are some folks might be saying, because some of you like, why Mark is calling up the MPs? And I didn't say, I just said if I were an MP, I would have dropped whatever I was doing to be out there with the people. Not to take a quick selfie and show off and these sort of things. I would have been out there with the people. The second thing is, and then some of you, because some of you like views, but now it's not the time to abuse me, because right now I'm ready to abuse some of you guys back. Serious abusing, I'm ready for y'all. Now, the leader of the opposition, I'm not saying he's in Georgetown. I don't know where he is, but this is his community. This is where he lives. He lives in Plaisance. Even if he's at Congress Place right now, he should have been right there. Drop whatever he's doing. Drop it and head right down there, because the people need representation right now in the village of Plaisance. But when you talk, people just get vexed. Oh, we can't be all over the same time. Oh, Mark, rest yourself. All sort of things. Yeah, some of y'all like tell me, no? All sort of things. The people are dying for leadership. Kudos to some of the MPs who are out on the streets and so forth. Kudos to those folks. Kudos to those people who got their bicycle. Look at what happened to the bicycle. People are fed up. And if you are from the village of Plaisance, call your relatives. You don't have to be there. Call your relatives. Call your people. Tell them what's going on. Let them go out there. Let them go out there and represent their village. You can't let a lagu-bagu like Jack Dale and a bunch of individuals, questionable characters going in there and controlling Plaisance. No, man, it's got to stop. It's got to stop. One way or the other, it's got to stop. Let's go back into Plaisance and hear what the folks are saying. Who vex, man? Y'all vex. I vex. Is y'all mouth and y'all face, y'all gonna lam up and sour up.
The traffic, around car, the
That is all? Yes, the man right up on the movie, right?
Everybody coming. Nobody moving.
It's not so hard.
Nobody moving.
Just like the honor foot to me.
Nobody moving.
Not me from behind and better me back. I want the money for paper.
Each time people go to the station.
Each time we go to the station, that's what we do. Police are right up there. The OB, because that makes sense. You got to get money for this fight.
I don't want to buy it, right? Please.
Money. I got to give me money for my wife.
That jam the bomb.
I'm not also here, you know. Someone can kill me just for two. I'm not moving with that kill again money. Talk to me right here. So you're bullying me. You see how the fly around this man?
Anytime you get paid, you are standing up here. Then that's a run we all. Anytime the car pay, then that's a run that we come on
All right, so they're going to sort themselves out. Okay, that's it. The end of our broadcast here from Plaisance. We're going to have probably a report of what really transpired in that school.
You know, this is what's happening live now. You saw some Phantom Squad, former Death Squad guys there with the police. Some of them are intimidating citizens and so forth. Let me just bring to your attention that when you're on this platform, you got to respect people. Whether it's our listeners, we don't entertain trench crappos, but I just want you guys to know that I'm not going to entertain any form of disrespect on this platform. This is a serious situation that's happening, and if we're calling out on our leaders, those who we have voted for, and I have voted for them, and I have every right to call them out. I don't want anybody to come on this platform to make any derogatory remarks. Certainly, I wouldn't take that as a joke. To address me as a red ras, rest your red ras. You know, therein lies the problem and the disrespect. So you guys say goodbye to Eon Bino. He's done with. He's gone. This is a serious platform. I'm not going to entertain that. That is why these political enemies love to take their eyes and disrespect us, pass us, disrespect us, because everything for some people is a skin teeth, and they get very emotional, and their bumps raise like a Eon Bino. So he had to go. I'm not going to tolerate any such thing like red ras, carry a red ras, and come on. Enough of that nonsense. And I'm sure he's a big old hardback man. So if you know him and you see him, tell him to hell. Tell him that's it. We need serious people who can objectively criticize their leaders and the politicians and so forth. We don't need no ASS lickers, ASS political lickers who are not brave enough to even show their own face. The hell with that. Let's get back to Plaisance. I think the guy that's doing the filming there said that he probably was about to conclude what's happening there. I was hoping to get in touch with Mr. Wayne Caesar. This is serious time. Serious time it is. Not skin teeth every minute is skin teeth. You know, I'm losing patience with some, not all of you guys. We know the bulk of you guys are serious people here. Serious people. And whoever Eon Bino is, we don't know who he is. He has no photograph. He has nothing. Absolutely nothing. And we don't play it like that any longer in this program. You disrespect, guess what? Like Charmin Blackman said, no disrespect or whatever the song is. But this is what is happening in Plaisance at the moment. The camera guy probably ran out of battery or whatever else he ran out, maybe his data or something. But we are appreciative of Andrew Weeks there out in Plaisance. We heard earlier what was happening there. Jack Dave, they moved in to Plaisance to take over Plaisance. He did that across opposite the Sparendam police station. He went over the back of Sparendam police station. He took over a big plot of land. And in taking over that land, you know what else he did? He just, a lot of people can no longer go into that community. They can't do much, all because of Jack Dale. And now we're seeing they're moving into Plaisance again on the line top to chase the people out, chase them out, disrespect the people who have lived there. And Plaisance is not a village that Jack Dale would understand the history, how it was purchased. He wouldn't. But it is so disrespectful that they're moving in and disrespecting the villagers. The villagers. Jack Dale wouldn't do that. He wouldn't care some of those goons, some of those Phantom Squad killing squad members. you know what I mean, into those communities. But every Black community, every African Guyanese community, they feel that they can disrespect, just walk right into, like if there is some kind of um, somebody left them the transport, and they could just walk in and do as they like. Some of them, some of them wouldn't try that in Trinidad if they were politicians in Trinidad, walk in Laventille or Belmont or Digo Martin and them areas like that, especially down by the Bitomto in Laventille area. They wouldn't do that. They can't do that. Some of them would even do that in Jamaica and those other places, but they feel comfortable walking into Plaisance and doing that to the people. And because we are asking, we are not saying that the matter happened right away, that these members of parliament for the opposition and even the leader of the opposition could just reach there in 2 seconds. And we're not saying that, but we're saying that that has been for over an hour now. Georgetown is just 10-15 minutes away, or even less. Why is it that we cannot see our elected officials out there? The leader of the opposition is right there in Plaisance, lives right there in Plaisance. What is so wrong with asking, where are they? Where are they? Now, it could be that he is out of town. Could be that he is somewhere else. But what is wrong with asking a question? Some of you, not all of you, like that Moko one by the name of Ian Bino, that we don't know what he looked like. We don't know if he's a PPP. We don't know if it's Jack Dave in disguise. We don't know if it's Irfanal. We don't know who it is. Talking a bunch of dotishness, you know, and making these derogatory remarks, but red man, rest your ass. You and I aren't friends. Don't come up here and say, but rest your ass, red man. Who are you? A damn break, man. I mean, I'm not bothered when called red man or whatever, but that is how we are just basically misguided with foolishness, dotishness, too much skin teeth. Again, that's happening out in Plaisance for some of you who just probably joined us. The guy who was doing the broadcast probably ran out of his battery died, and so we're not hearing. We're not getting that live feed as of now. So we'll try to figure out what went wrong and if his battery died, or if we can get that feed from someone else. It looks as though, all across, it's just dead right now. We're not getting any other live feed out of Plaisance. But that is what is happening. I was hoping to get in touch with a member out of the community there, the Plaisance community, Mr. Wayne Caesar, to get his take on what's happening, and just to get, I'm looking at some of you other folks from Plaisance. Troy Fraser is correct. Troy Fraser is saying we sit down too long. Yeah, we have been sitting down too long, talking too much too. And the bickering has been back and forth. Who is on the ground, who's not on the ground, who oversees, and too much waste of time. If you're overseas, do exactly this. You know, offer your voice in some way, shape, or form. And if you're on the ground, do your thing. Don't tell people you're on the ground. We don't want to know you're on the ground. We know you're on the ground. But the question is, what are you doing while you're on the ground? Talking and stuff, and little chit-chat toward that fourth-hand information wouldn't suffice. Go on the ground as you're on the ground. Protest. Stand up and protest in your communities. So I'm looking some of your comment. We're looking at and some of these guys right forget a name like a Rakesh would name raccoon because that's what he looks like, a raccoon. I'm asking why this guy can't come and fight for us in Guyana. Why keep in and hide? HID hide in. Oh, this guy can't even. Oh gosh. why we got to go through this painful thing. Mr. Caesar, we see what's happening there in Plaisance. Good afternoon. Your quick take as we spend a few minutes. Are you surprised?
I'm not surprised at all. The PPP would have laid out a lot of money in Plaisance with the hope of, winning that constituency, and it didn't happen. So I am not surprised by what I see here. But that being said, Mark, knowledge that I would have heard that they're planning to put a 4-lane highway there. It doesn't make any sense because there's no way that you can get 4 lanes there. You're going to be right on top of people's homes. So I just think that this is a persecution, a revenge thing here with the PPP when it comes to Plaisance. And you know what, Mark? I'm going to say this to the people of Plaisance. I am somewhat disappointed because this guy would have infringed upon Plaisance and taken our community center away, and the people have not fought him over it. You see, when things like these happen, Mark, and you don't nip it in the butt right away, exactly what we're seeing now is what you get. Because then, they're going to get more aggressive, if we continue to be in the posture of being passive, and not being accountable for our own village, then Jack Deere is going to do what he wants to do. And he wants Plaisance. He wants to build out and do his thing. He wants Plaisance. He doesn't want the people of Plaisance, but he wants Plaisance.
He
So it
wants to
doesn't
divide
surprise
up the
me.
communities. He wants to destroy people. He wants to disrespect people. And that is precisely what he is doing there. Mr. Caesar, how you think, because we're seeing some villagers there, folks from Plaisance have joined up with the enemy, so to speak. How does that make you feel, sir?
Oh no, Mark, that puts a very bad taste in my mouth. I'm disappointed. And from the news that I'm getting is one family in particular, not even the entire family, factions within that family that would have joined up with the PPP. And from knowledge that I'm getting on the ground, those same people are some of the people who they're requesting that they be removed from the line top. The line top has been a long lasting tradition of Plaisance. We usually have the little party and entertainment on Thursday nights, but every night, you could find that Plaisance line top is fully populated. It never sleeps, and this is disrespectful what's happening here. It's very disrespectful. And that's what the PPPC has done over time, Mark. They have just infringe on the Afro Guyanese communities and has totally disrespected us, disregarded us. They don't treat us with no type of dignity, and that's not right. I mean, look, the Amerindians are the first people, the indigenous people are the first people of Guyana. But the Afro Guyanese are the ones that would have liberated Guyana. So the PVPC have no right, Mark, doing what they're doing right now. It's very, very disrespectful. And there must be repercussions for this.
All right, Wayne Caesar there. We can understand his passion. He's from the village of Plaisance. It is disrespectful as to what the PPP is doing. They can, if they feel they can get away with this in Plaisance, expect them to go in other communities, maybe in Linden. They're attempting that in Linden. Keep an eye out for them in Ituni and Kokwani. Keep an eye out for them in Linden. And, sorry, New Amsterdam as well. Speaking of Linden and New Amsterdam and now Georgetown, I just want to divert for a couple of seconds that the local government elections over. The PPP has rigged its way into a lot of townships. The PPP, through the Guyana Elections Commission, sent out a letter, and I want you guys to listen to this carefully. They sent out a letter to all of the elected councillors that the swearing in of mayors and deputy mayors and councillors would be done tomorrow, Wednesday. It was supposed to have been tomorrow, Wednesday. Lo and behold, they sent another letter canceling the swearing in of mayors and deputy mayors and councillors tomorrow. It has been canceled. No explanation given. So we're not sure. Thursday is a holiday in Guyana. I believe that's the case. Then we're not sure if it's going to be done on Friday. The question is, why is it that the Guyana Elections Commission, through the PPP, have decided to cancel the swearing in of councillors? And then when you swear in the councillors will decide who will be the mayor and the deputy mayor. All of that has been canceled, and I'm very suspicious of the reason why. Keep an eye, guys, on New Amsterdam. Keep an eye on New Amsterdam and Georgetown. Keep an eye, Mr. Wayne Caesar.
Yeah, but Mark, how can we be, how can we be moving forward with, getting the councillors and all these people on board, Mark, if the Guyana Elections Commission has not been forthcoming with, exactly what happened at the local government elections? Because I have not gotten any kind of, concrete evidence as to who would have won where, who won, what amount of seats. Listen, Mark, that's not something that you post on your website. No, you have to come out, you have to have a press conference, you have to be transparent to the people. What is going on in Guyana? What is really going on in Guyana? What's going on at GCOM? Is GCOM an independent organ, or is GCOM an extension of the PPPC? Because that's what it appears to be. And
It is
again,
obvious that GCOM is an extension of the PPPC, because everything they everything they're doing is pro PPP. They're not pro Guyana. GCOM is not pro Guyana. GCOM is pro PPP. Just like the DPP chambers, as we're waiting days now for a word on the alleged rapist file to be finalized and hopefully charges recommended. But the DPP is playing game as well. So the DPP is a PPP and GCOM is a PPP. And these entities, like the PPP, are not for Guyana. They are just not for Guyana.
But Mark, the APNU would have had 3 commissioners there at GCOM. What's going on? What's going on? Can these commissioners speak? I know Vincent Alexander is there. He's an academic and can speak. I hardly ever hear anything from the other 2 commissioners that are there, but they need to be transparent with the people here. You can't go out and, soliciting people to come and vote, and then when they come and vote, there's no results to give to them.
Absolutely
these
no
things are
results
not
at
right.
all. The other GCOM commissioners need to be speaking out. You have Mr. Charles Corbin there. You have Mr. Trotman there as well. And then you have Mr. Vincent Alexander. We need to see a press conference with all 3 of these guys. But thus far, we have been hearing from one all the time. We want to hear, maybe the others have a view. They have an opinion too. But, and this is where we are failing, and we are failing our people. And when we fail our people, this is exactly what happens. The political enemies, they see and they move in to fill that gap. We have to stop allowing the political enemies to fill the gap. And some of you who are very emotional on issues that can't see past just being a diehard or a dead PNC or whatever it is you call, you got to see past that. Constructive criticism doesn't mean hatred. Some of you guys got to get past that. If things are not working out now, fix it. How do you fix it? By having proper discussions around the table. Again, I'm going to say to you guys, talk to your leader. Keep an eye on what's happening in New Amsterdam before cat eat y'all dinner in New Amsterdam and in Georgetown. You don't want Georgetown Chamber municipality to be controlled by the PPP. Don't rule these things out. You guys stop with this sort of thinking. It is dangerous waters right now we're in. And I hope the leadership of the PNC would get their act together. Simply put, that's just my opinion, mind you guys. Let's head back to, in fact, let's head to Plaisance here. Sorry about that, Mr. Caesar. Andrew, what's happening on the ground, sir?
Mark, I can't hear you. There's a lot of noise out here. A lot of noise. But I have a gentleman who was in the meeting, and he has some information to bring to us of what transpired in the meeting.
Transpiring.
Hold on. Go ahead, sir.
Right. Can we go to the light first?
You got light.
Okay, great. I thought it was best to get this information out as quickly as possible. Right. I thought it was best to get this information out as quickly as possible.
What is your name, sir?
First and foremost, my name is Brix X. I am also a vendor at Plaisance. I operate a juice stall on a daily basis on the Plaisance line top, where they're currently looking to do the 4-lane highway, or the road expansion, as they call it. Now, first and foremost, for the viewers that are on, this is basically the same thing that I stated within the meeting, right? Is that I have no political affiliation. Upon receiving, at first, the vendors received a letter stating that we have to vacate or remove derelict stalls within 7 days, right? So with that notification that we received, we immediately, the vendors, of course, normally worried about the fact that we have to remove from vending within 7 days. We immediately thought about our families, and worried about how we're going to provide for our families, given the economy in which we're presently living in. So we engaged the NDC for some clarification, and also the market clerk that is in charge of the market area. And within that meeting, what we decided to do, since they were unsure or even not quite certain on why the letter was issued in the first place. So what we did, we formed a committee that is neutral, which it so happens that they asked me to be a part of that committee. So they asked for a committee that will be neutral to represent the vendors. But just so that the audience is aware, is that we have both persons with and without the community that vends on Plaisance line top. So in the capacity that I'm presently in, being in charge of the committee, I'm speaking on both sides of that equation, which is the people of Plaisance and also the vendors. Forgive me if I'm speaking a bit fast. But with that being said, with the press conference following that meeting, we had a second meeting where we engaged both vendors alike and also the persons within the community to get their general consensus and their concerns about the letter that we received that everyone was a little bit worried about. So what came up from that meeting is a general consensus stating that they don't want the road to be built, because there's a lot of uncertainty surrounding why the road expansion is taking place where it is currently taking place right now, which is on the railway embankment. So with that general consensus, we then decided to have a press conference, which was held like a few days ago. In that Friday, on that press conference, the committee, along with the NDC, which you must admit, the present NDC is a voice for the community. So with that press conference, the committee that was formed to represent both vendors and also the persons within the community, which is Plaisance, decided that we only thought it was best, the committee that is, to stand in solidarity with the persons within Plaisance. For the mere fact is, this is the village of the persons within Plaisance. So the market and also the vendors falls under the jurisdiction and also the mandate of the people of Plaisance. So based on the decision that is made by the people within Plaisance, the market or the vendors wouldn't have no choice but to follow that, because this is their community that we are currently plying our trade on a daily basis. And we have to be very grateful for that, which I am very grateful for on a daily basis. The mere fact that I'm able to provide for my family on a daily basis, given the economy that we presently live in, I am extremely grateful. So we stand in solidarity with the people within Plaisance. So as you probably, some of the viewers are already aware, there's a meeting currently taking place right now indoors with the vice president, which is Bharat Jagdeo. So I was notified, excuse the outfit that I presently have on, because I was notified about the meeting just by happenstance. One of my friends, actually no, my wife called me and said that she overheard that there would be a meeting in Plaisance, so by the VP. So I assumed that it was concerning as it relates to what's taking place because of the press conference that we also did. So I joined that meeting, which I just came out from. It's presently going on at the moment. I was concerned about initially joining the meeting as to what exactly the agenda is for the meeting itself, given the fact that we're meeting with the VP. Right, this is no light person. This is the VP, the second vice president. Right, just 1 second. I guess it's my wife calling. Just hold this for me, please. Right. So my apologies for that. So what went on in the meeting, I must say that I'm totally disgusted by what I heard and the agenda for the meeting itself. First and foremost, the agenda for the meeting is to sit down and discuss solutions to to actually hear some of the concerns coming from the persons who are affected. And at that meeting, they're looking to come up with solutions. The reason why I'm totally disgusted by that statement made from by the vice president is because first and foremost, no missive, no formal letter of communication was made informing the vendors and also the people of Plaisance, stating that there is a meeting pertaining to that critical issue. These are genuine concerns coming from the people. So if these are genuine concerns where we had a meeting to address that, you would want to ensure that persons are notified and are informed about it. And what you also want to do is to ensure that any representative on behalf of the people and also on behalf of the vendors as well are notified so they can sit in that critical meeting. Not only that, if a missive or any indication was provided that it was going to be a meeting of that nature, we would ensure that we engage the community and also the vendors, which we did, to get their consensus and concerns and clearly articulate what are some of the measures that can be put in place to ensure that we rectify this issue, which is causing a total uproar, rightfully so, by the people within the community. I understand the reason as to why those persons are upset.
You said you were discussed what happened in the meeting. What took
So,
place?
thank you very much for keeping me on track. I was discussed first and foremost by that comment being made, stating that it was a meeting addressing concerns and also seeking solutions. The reason why I'm discussed is because if you're going to do that, the perception that I got is a case of where we are illiterate. If you're going into any meeting, the first thing that you would want to know is what the agenda, so you can carefully prepare for it. How is it that you're going to just issue a statement to a few persons or inform a few persons stating that there are going to be a meeting of that magnitude? It makes no sense to me, and it's ridiculous. The second statement that he made, which I found disgusting, is that he was asking the reason as to why the chairman is not there. How can you ask that question when no information, no formal invitation was provided? And once again, I want to re-emphasize, I'm really upset about it because I'm a vendor. Because what is taking place there, the persons that are in that audience are a mob. Because when I was trying to address these key critical issues, I was being dumbed down and being removed from the stand, both from the VP and also from the audience, which I thought was totally disrespectful. Because at length, I am where I did introduce myself that I'm here in the court, or I'm representing both the vendors and also the people of Plaisance. And this must be critical, and I need to emphasize on this. I have no political affiliation whatsoever. The reason why I'm speaking in this tone is because I'm very passionate, and I guess that's the reason as to why they asked me to represent them in the first place, right? So the thing is that was totally disgusting to me. And what happened is that he asked the audience, the people of his peers, to create a group to represent the people of Plaisance committee. It's a total sham. It's a total fabrication, and that can't take place. I think it's unfair of what is happening. To be quite honest with you, I'm totally disgusted. I'm totally annoyed. I'm upset because of the fact of this is a vice president of a country. Is a vice president of a country that's operating like that. It's so informal. Dictator. It is so informal. It is so. It was an ad hoc meeting. It's like bypass. You were in the area, so you decided to call a meeting to discuss the resolution of such an issue, overlooking the genuine concern of the people within Plaisance. That's disgusting to me. And the meeting is actually taking place right now. A key information that is missing also. What you'll probably notice from the press conference is that a case of where he happened to call Mr. Juan Edgel. I believe he's the Minister of Infrastructure, of Public Works. The thing is, he's on the phone with the minister right now. And something that I should share is that no consultation, I have to re-emphasize on this, no consultation was done with the people of Plaisance and also with the vendors that are going to be directly affected by this greatly. No consultation was done, but a consultation was done both with Ogle and industry. Those are the villages just before Plaisance. A formal notice after engaging with the NDC. A notice, not necessarily after the NDC, after engaging with the NDC, they informed the vendors that were there. that were concerned that a formal communication was made to the minister. A formal communication was made to the minister requesting for consultation to be done with the persons of Plaisance. The VP is stating with that meeting, I'm thinking that the press is going to come out either tomorrow or today, is stating that Minister Edgell should have consulted the persons within Plaisance, but a formal notice was provided. A formal notice was provided. So if a formal notice was provided, it is I'm only led to believe that it was totally ignored. A formal notice was provided by the NDC and the chairman pertaining to that key critical issue of consultation, because persons are worried about the impact, the devastating impact that that road expansion is going to have. Then there are uncertainties surrounding whether or not if the construction should happen there in the first place. A formal notice was provided from the NDC, but no formal notice was provided by the VP, the vice president of this country. I am worried as a young individual for an operation like that to take place so haphazardly, without no care, no concern. How can we say that we are running? This is a serious government. I'm totally worried. I'm totally concerned about that.
So you're saying you see another local situation happening in Plaisance?
What I'm saying is that what I witnessed within there is totally unjust. It's totally unjust, really, to the greatest magnitude. To the greatest magnitude. I can't believe the country is being run like that. It's ridiculous.
Let me ask you
Mark, you say something?
Let me ask you this question. You said that there was consultation in other communities such as Monrepo and other areas. Do you see this as blatant discrimination and racism, that they could walk into Plaisance just like that and disrespect the people?
You know, to be quite honest with you, Mark, I don't think it's the proper time to say that it's blatant discrimination. The general public, I understand the reason as to why the persons here are saying it is, right? But I want to say right now what happened and took place within that particular meeting there. It's a mockery. It's a mockery to the establishment, and it's a mockery, and it's total disrespect, and it's a spit in the face of the people within Plaisance and also the vendors. I'm a vendor. I am a vendor. And I said that clearly within the meeting, but I was shunned.
Something wrong.
Yeah, so, Andrew, thank that young man so much. Let's hear from Cheryl Thomas Went. Cheryl is out there. Let's get a quick.
Listen,
yes, I'm here.
Yes, Cheryl,
please.
Good night, Mark. Good night, Mark. To be honest, this that Jack Dio did today is a disrespect to the people of Plaisance, that they not give nobody any proper notification that they will be having a meeting in Plaisance. They walk in Plaisance like they think they own Plaisance with the people. They got 101 police vehicles. 3/4 of the people in the meeting is not from Plaisance. We were at the gate to reach in the officers, and Jack Dio pit bulls push everybody out back and just pick their people in the meeting. So there's nobody from Plaisance who could talk what's going on for Plaisance. No vendors. PPP people in there. And it is unfair to the residents of Plaisance. And we're going to push back with Jack Dio and the cabal. He installed cabal.
Yep, thank you so much, Cheryl. Andrew, what else is happening there on the ground, sir?
Well, they're having persons out here just standing up waiting for Jack Dio and his team to come out. I think they're having some other folks at the gate right now, you know, protesting as well against what's happening in the village. Let me get a little closer and let you see exactly what's happening in the compound of the school, or the gate of the school, and so
many of course your children. Many of course your children.
Yeah, I have Shanika here.
Let's get a view from Shanika, please, as to how she feels. Good night, Shanika.
Good evening, Mr. Benchcop.
Can you give us a quick rundown how disrespectful this is to the entire village?
It is extremely disrespectful to the village of Plaisance. You would have called for a meeting with the public, the the villagers, the vendors who will be affected. Because when you're going to move persons who are having a livelihood in a village, it doesn't just concern the person's vending, but it also affects the village. And hence, villagers as well wanted to attend the meeting. Prior to the start of meetings, villagers gathered and they began to protest. I was outside, and while they were lining, waiting on Jagdio to come, I began to ask Ramson, Miss Sheila, Member of Parliament, and others questions that they refused to answer. In fact, Ramson turned his back on me, and I let him know that what he is saying there is that he is not accountable to citizens. He doesn't have to answer questions. He can turn his back on the citizens as the government has continued to do to ordinary Guyanese. As Jagdio came, persons were out there protesting. We walked down the road with him as he came to the meeting, and villagers decided that they wanted to come in to the meeting, and they were locked out. One villager who was on the campaign for the PPP said that we are being forceful and we're tugging, when they were the ones holding the gate, locking it and blocking it from actual villagers going in. And the thing is, at this point, Plaisance will no longer take this nonsense from Jagdio, who is currently squatting on our ancestors' land and feels that he can come into this community, disrespect our concern, don't answer our questions when we ask, and lock us out of public meeting. The village will no longer accept it. I saw NCN report saying that I'm a political activist and name others. I want NCN to also know that I'm a villager of Plaisance, born, bred, and grow. My father's church is in this village, and we help people in this community all the time. So I want them to correct that and let them know that I'm a Plaisancian, and we will not take any more nonsense from the PPP. Villagers at this point who are even lenient to the PPP are now very upset because this treatment that has been meted out to us here tonight is beyond disrespect. It is beyond disrespect to the village of Plaisance, but to all citizens. And they can no longer tell us about one Guyana. Let them tell us about the 1% that they represent, and not one Guyana.
Well said, Shanika. Where do we go from here? With
Well,
blatant disrespect.
we are waiting to hear what came out of the meeting. And as villagers, we will meet and decide on our actions, because this is serious. We know that there are plans afoot to take our backland, that there are plans that are already plotted out. And they tried to get the last chairman to sign, and now they're fighting for the NDC because they want to give it away. So we will meet and we will continue our actions in protest and ensure that Plaisance, they know that Plaisance is not for sale, and Plaisance people who our ancestors bought and paid for these lands will no longer accept the rubbish being meted out.
Well said, Shanika. Stand strong. Thousands of people are with you guys. Stay strong. We appreciate your time there, ma'am. Just be safe.
Thank you.
A lot of hooligans are there. Be safe.
All right, we are waiting them to leave to continue our protest. So we're out here waiting.
Thank you. Can I have a quick word from Wayne Mason there, please?
Wayne Mason.
Hi, Mark.
Hey, Wayne, what's going on there? What's the mood like, and how are you feeling there, sir?
Well, we out here giving support to Plaisance. I saw Jagdia and Cabal put on NCN that myself and Shanika, something with fire, but I don't want anybody really pushing the fire. We're smoking fire out here. I saw one Kwame Mackay said at the time, the chief, battle wash and cook. They lock out the young people from Plaisance. A set of young people just here. They lock out those young people, those young boys, young 17, 18. They want to hear what is going on in their village.
Oh, Mark, putting your mark. They also locked out
HGP Nightly News from going in to cover the meeting.
Thank you for
Yes,
that
and a
info,
lot of
Andrew.
residents. And they're using the police like a tool. We know the Guyana Police Force have a motto to serve and protect. But they've gone back to the old days. We know the old days. They use the police for their actions. Several officers, not normal ranks, officers have been placed in front of gate to be chocolaters and all kinds of things, and thugs. It is so bad that the training that the APNU government have given to the Guyana Police Force and raised the bar of the Guyana Police Force, it has gone to the dogs and to the ground again.
Absolutely. Well said, Wayne Mason. You guys continue to be safe there on the ground as we carry the event live right here. So they're currently in the compound right now. They're still there.
Yes. The crowds are inside and outside. And right now the protesters are singing some song, keeping Jaguar company until he come down. So we will let him know that Plaisance is not for sale. Plaisance will stand strong, and we will link our hands in unity with Plaisance to fight against the force of the enemy, because it's too long that the PPP trample upon the rights of Guyanese. And now they are into the village of Plaisance, where they were planning to take advantage and where they will use those background, those lands at the back there. That is what they're interested in. They're not interested in the people of Plaisance, and we know that, Mark.
Well said, Wayne. You guys continue to be safe. Thank you, my friend. Appreciate it.
Yeah. Okay.
Well, Mark, we also have Darren Wade, attorney at law,
Mr. Caesar,
up front, protesting as well. I don't know if you want to word with him.
Yeah, who's that?
Darren Wade
You're
is
going to get
there,
some.
Mark.
Yeah, let's get a quick word from Darren Wade, please.
Yeah, Darren, he's coming. Someone is getting him to come on, talk with you. This is sickening. This is very, very terrible. That this situation happening here in the village of Plaisance under a dictatorial government. You know this regime. So here is Darren Wade.
Thank you, sir.
Mark Benchcap. Hi, Mark. How you doing? Good night. Good night to you, Mark, and to your viewers. I'm here at Ground Zero.
What's happening on the ground?
What's happening here? Well, the villagers called me to come down here because they did Bishop Essence go and tell here. That is Mr. Cummins that just entered the Bishop Juan Ejil, formerly Cummins, Mr. Cummins, Bishop Cummins, Minister Cummins, now known as Juan Ejil, just entered the premises here. The villagers are complaining that they are unable to let their voice, to give their voice, to raise their concerns. And what we are seeing here, the PPP brought a crowd from our boys' tongues, but there are reports of several known phantom elements are part of the crowd. That's what they have said. I don't know. That is the allegations out there. I heard some bickering about that by the rumors. Several other allegations out here about the PPP. I see one person I know is sure is not from Plaisance, Keisha Crabshack. Keisha from Crabshack, the place in South Rumville. So you don't have the Plaisance persons that are kept out from going in and voicing their concerns.
Okay, so
this is Bajak just an audience without Plaisance people in Plaisance. He rent a crowd and brought it here and barred the true Plaisance villagers from entering. Village leaders are left out. Church leaders are left out here. You're not part of what are going on. As a councillors, they're all left out here from going in there. Person who have legitimate issues, legitimate concern. The same people who allegedly throw the feces on our good friend Freddie, they are in there. I just see, you can see Jason inside there. But Jason was convicted by the court, by it's not allegedly anymore. The court found him to through the feces, the sauce, that stuff in Freddie's mouth. They're all there. And they're falling, and these people have been peaceful. But we are here on the ground here.
And we appreciate that.
And whatever assistance I could give to the villagers as I'm here. I'm not from this village, but I'm just giving this assistance.
Thank you, because remember, our ancestors were the pool of the money to support these villages. We got to stand strong and defend the village. Thank you so much, Darren. Appreciate it.
That is true. That is absolutely true. It's a ruckus out. It's absolutely true. That is absolutely true. It's absolutely true. We need to come together and unite. I'm from an African ancestral village. We all know the allegation of Barry Jack on the land right here in Plaisance, the ancestral land. We know we have all those allegations. They are the lands of the backlands of Plaisance, the allegations that they are in those lands also in Plaisance. So it's important for us to be vigilant. And I will continue to learn and give support in every possible way. So
thank you so much. Thank you so much. I appreciate it.
Thank you.
Thank you so much.
You do enjoy. Well, yes. You were in the meeting?
I went in there, but I come out.
Chief, we have another witness who was in the meeting and wants to say what transpired in the meeting.
I don't know what the meeting has started.
Another meeting has started?
No, I went earlier and I come down. I asked him for a pass and want me to watch me and tell me that I shoplift. I did shoplift. What he asked me, Annie, who is me? Damn, I spouse disrespect me, but we gonna meet up. We gonna meet up. I did shoplift. He disrespectful. But we gonna meet. It ain't done. It ain't done. I lock up me got up on the paper right now for going in the yard. And I come here and this way you come to tell me disrespectful. And I'm done with you. They don't care when you're talking at anybody that's talking bad over anybody that's talking. They're disrespectful.
Well, Mark, we also were informed that they are sending for the squad team to disperse the crowd.
We are moving.
But we're going to see what's going to happen. We're going to see what's going to happen. The folks are here. The villagers are here. The vendors are here. And we have other folks are coming into the village to give support to the vendors and the villagers here in Plaisance.
They're picking out who the want in the meeting. Or who the one that picking the passing through the gate. But Plaisance is stuffing to break down the gate. Break down the gate and go ahead to the public meeting.
More sentiment from villagers. It's terrible, Mark.
Frustrated. People come here to concern.
Yep. So that's what's happening. If we turn the camera around, you'll see protesters here. Yeah.
Well, let me talk to that lady right here. Let me talk to her. Right, she just passed one of the vendors.
You got another vendor here? Who's not a vendor? Who's not a vendor? They got more vendors here?
Yes,
but that's okay.
They got no vendors.
They got some vendors. Who's a vendor too? Oh, there's not no vendor. How do you feel about the situation here? Right?
They're lucky out the gate.
They're not allowing Plaisance people.
They're allowing Plaisance people going. They ask me a
They're bringing the people from Albite and all
Make your mind.
So he's saying he's not allowed. He was not allowed to get in into the meeting.
But if they got a meeting today concerned with the vendors out there, they're supposed to have the gate open. They're supposed to have the meeting going on downstairs. I'm supposed to give the different views. And not we going in and you going in. If you ask me, many are confused because Jack, you're bringing the old person to make it look like if it's we plan and see what's up there.
supporting them with it. And this ball, because never we send the place so we don't care. We got to be business, we got to be rent for pay, we got to be trying to send the school, we got to pay all kind of things, but me head up to me.
If you look, there's a placard here that says 1844 Plaisance was bought and paid for. Our village is our pride. That's another placard that was a part of the protest here today.
I went to this school as a youth.
You went to the school as a youth?
Yeah. I went to this school as a youth.
I went to the school.
You can't enter the school.
I went to the school. Give me something to sit on me.
Who?
I went to the school every girl.
Come.
So I went to the school.
Come. Look here. Don't look to the light.
Yeah. My four parents buy where I live in Plaisance. My four parents is one of them that bought Plaisance. So why we can't go in and say anything? You can't rent a crowd and say Plaisance people.
I asking them to go in for 5 minutes with 5 questions and they're refusing me. Me will live, buy and grow and live in it. 5 minutes, 5 questions.
A question was asked.
That I seen coming out. Some of them don't even have a business on the road there.
Yes, a question asked. A question asked. If Plaisance is the government code, say them answer the labor.
All on the dog. The money gone for them. I got Bishop.
I'll buy some people to bring.
It's very disrespectful because we need Plaisance people. We can't get the first opportunity to go inside. If you understand, we can't get the first opportunity. Most of the people that don't even know them.
So the protesters here. We're at the gate. That's the gate right there.
You see now. You lie down.
Protester on the ground.
Lie down. Michelle.
Protesters on the ground there in front of the gate. This is developing. This is a developing situation here right now. Jack Deere is inside, pumping up the crowd in there. They rent the crowd. The people from Albaistown, the touts, ex-criminals that he has in there, pumping up the crowd. I think they're standing right now. It looks as though they are about to leave. Or possibly, I think they're standing up. See, that's a school in there. See, they're standing. Not showing. Not sure if they're all standing, which means that they're like maybe possibly they're wrapping up the meeting or something of the sort. So we're gonna wait and see what's happening and possibly get a comment from the chairman of the NDC. So they're clapping upstairs as well. They're clapping as well upstairs. So you want to make a comment? It's my bench cup. Had a young man out there who also giving support to represent.
I want to win. Right now, me here, I identify the trade here. I identify the trade here. I don't know. I can't be telling you. But you let her in. I
So, you see what's happening there, Mark? The protesters giving them a hard time at the gate in terms of letting them know that they are the true representative of the people in Plaisance. Right?
Yep. Let us keep an eye on the gate. Yep. Wayne, Caesar, your take. You seeing everything live? Go ahead, Wayne.
Yeah. Well, Mark, this is. I would hope, Mark, that the world is watching this, because this is the perfect example of domestic terrorism right here. We're watching it live. You know, the PDP government is just a set of bullies, they're a set of terrorists. You know, Mark, these people would have created these jobs on their own. Remember that the government would have promised 50,000 jobs. These people would have created these jobs on their own. And now the same government is trying to take the jobs back away from them by depriving them of their daily living.
Yep. The young people are saying that they have a right to be in there, their parents are in there, and they have a right to be in there. The parents are vendors. The parents are here, they have a right to be in there.
Andrew, could you ask those young people as they look forward, what's their thoughts for the future of the based on what they're seeing tonight?
So tell me, you guys seeing a bright future for this village right now with this situation going on?
No, sir.
Well, there you have it. They're not seeing it. Now the lawyer, the attorney, he wants to get in now. Attorney Darren Wade wants to get in. Look at so even the attorney can't get in.
Wow.
That's how bad we are.
Yes, yes, and it's pretty, Andrew, it's pretty consistent. It seems to be every week, every few days, there is something.
The people cannot get in there, man.
Yep, that's right.
Man, the people cannot get in. They're pushing the people. They're pushing all the people.
Where did the Roseanne come out? We are moving. Roseanne, we are moving. And one angel, we are moving. We are moving. We stay right there. Ever since tomorrow and the day after, whenever we stay in there, Palio want residents coming in there. Well, we can wait outside Palio.
All right. While I take a quick couple minutes break, Wayne Caesar will be in control. So Wayne, take it over.
Where is the one? Where is the one?
So, yep, that's what's happening.
Andrew, do you mind sharing with us which school it is that this meeting is going on?
It's the Plaisance Primary School. Plaisance Primary School, that's it.
That's the one over the line, right?
The police
exactly
instructions from the guy at the gate. He's not even a police, he's not a member of the police force, anything. And these were the directions from the front. Right there.
So we gotta be beat out, who overrides police instructions and now take over the gate and is now locking folk from entering the school compound. Now, go.
I am here, and between you and me, what I am trying to shut them in
Could you please excuse me? Your children have paid. Your grandchildren have paid. Your cars.
So we're just looking at chaos here being caused, of course, by the first vice president, Mr. Barra Jagdeo, the evil one. But you know what? This is not going to last forever. And this is the issue. When the PPP hunt, they hunt heavy. And we've got to respond heavy. It just can't be pleasant. It just
Go
can't
ahead.
be village by village.
Hi.
You know? Shanika, go ahead.
What we were saying to show you how biased and how these people are scrupulous. We sent an East Indian comrade, lovely straight hair, not from the village of Plaisance, to simply go up to the gate and tell them you're here for the meeting. She walked up to the gate was open, and she was let in. That is the kind of thing I'm talking about. But they didn't know that it was a comrade who is going to go up there and beg them that they let in. But that is just to show exactly what we've been saying and what is happening out here.
Two Guyanas, Shanika, two Guyanas.
Two Guyanas, yes.
Yes, two Guyanas indeed.
Two Guyanas.
Yes.
Right, so
Apparently reinforcement is coming because the officer said to me that we can't take with we people. And he's
Well then if reinforcements is coming out, BV Triumph, Buxton, Golden Grove, no backlist, Victoria, let's come out and support. Melanie, let's come out and support the people of Plaisance, because you know what? They're going to go village by village. That's what they're going to do. They're going to go village by village.
Apparently, they're afraid to come out because they don't want to hear what we have to say. So the officer just said, tired of this. He's trying to be peaceful with us. I don't know what is his next resort, but he left to go up apparently to get reinforced. He's not He's a child supposed to reach at the gate. What happened to our black people? And the police have the right to come telling me that we're a mob. So then if we're a mob, what the hell Jagdeo is doing here amongst mob? What the hell Jagdeo is doing here amongst the mob? And the inspector's telling me he wants to speak to intelligent people. No, black people aren't intelligent. Black people aren't intelligent. But listen, we must teach these people an example. And if we can't come out on the road, come out on the line top when they come to break down the style and stop it. This is nonsense.
That's,
and I am only hoping that our black African people stand up. Stand up!
There is the one in your police that game.
The man is, Andrew, the guy there is correct, because he is right. It's the Afro Guyanese who are being oppressed.
You gotta move the ass out here. There was a time when the police were afraid to put on the clothes, and I think it is time.
It's true. You used to fight police.
One of the things I want to ask my black brothers, they're quick to pick up guns to shoot their own black brother. They are afraid to pick up guns to shoot their own black brother. Look, now it's time. Rise.
Andrew, after one time is definitely another. The people cannot continue to posture the way they are posturing and having the PPPC trample all over them. So
I want the police must arrest me. Let them raise up the devil in me. Let them do it. Because I know the PPP putting them to arrest any black man that think that is strong or know the strength, that they would arrest them. Start with me. I'm looking for a mother.
And so,
What I tell you?
you in a meeting? Well, they stand up. Let's see. They're still having discussions in there. I'll tell you what. We'll take a break and then we're gonna come back. If anything develops, I'm gonna get back to you.
okay, thank you, Andrew.
Wow.
All right. Well, you guys have seen it live from Plaisance. A total insurrection by the PPPC on the Plaisance people. You know, they started off by taking away the radio station out of Plaisance and Jagdio building his mansion in that space. They have infringed on the people of Plaisance and remove a portion of the community center ground. You can't do a 400-meter there anymore. The ground is just not big enough because Jagdio would have, you know, taken away a piece for his own purposes. Also, I recall we used to have lots of parties just about every weekend at the Plaisance Community Center ground. That don't happen anymore. The place is full of bush, right? And the people, they haven't put any pressure on him. So, he built up the gall to come and say now that they want to put a 4-lane highway on the line top of Plaisance. So I would have lived in Plaisance and I know it's many years since I would have left, but I can still remember the mapping. And based on the mapping that I would have recalled, if you put a 4-way highway on the line top, it would literally be in people's homes. Also, there wouldn't be much room from the public road to this 4-lane highway. So therefore, that's the first thing. They're making absolutely no sense there. The 4-lane highway can go through Plaisance, but it can pass through the backlands, which makes a lot of sense. But this government, they are bullies and they need to be stopped. They very much need to be stopped. And, I encourage the other villages along the East Coast, to come out and support Plaisance because when the PPP hunt, they hunt heavy. So if you guys are going to respond to them, you guys need to come back heavy. I am not inciting anything here, but I'm saying that Guyanese and villagers from all the villages along the East Coast and all the villages across Guyana have to come together and stand up to these dictators. Barrett Jagdeo is a dictator. He poured his money into Plaisance and come up empty, and he is angry. So he wants to take away the tradition of Plaisance, our line top, our famous line top, our famous train line top. That line top should always be intact. A 2-lane road is perfectly fine. You can put your 4 lanes in the back dam. There's no need to come. Listen, you guys promised 50,000 jobs as part of your mandate, during your election run. Instead of creating jobs, you guys would have taken away an additional 3,000 jobs. So come on, these people would have created these jobs on their own. Now, when you see black people or Afro Guyanese are out there and they get in any trouble with stealing or anything like that, you call them all kind of names. Now they are creating employment for themselves, and you guys are infringing on their livelihood. How do you expect people to respond to that? Everybody deserves an opportunity to live. Guyana is an oil-rich country, and the people are not seeing any of that revenue coming their way. A handout here and there does not satisfy anything. It is temporary in nature. We need permanent employment solutions to the people of Guyana. They're not seeing that, so they're trying to create their own. This government needs to stop. I would hope that the international community is looking at this, because when the people rise up, you're not going to call them names. I am not going to sit down here and watch anybody try to put derogatory names against these people, because we would have seen what they're going through.
You
Even the
know,
youth in Plaisance, Mark, they don't have a positive outlook on the future.
absolutely. If you guys, if you're hearing me clear, sorry, but
Yes,
I'm
very
not
clear,
with you.
Mark.
But it is sad as to what's happening right there in Plaisance. It's a total disrespect. We heard earlier there was a young man, the young vendor, who said that no other community, the PPP hasn't disrespected the people of Monrepo. They haven't disrespected the people in Annandale. They went there and they had civilized discussions with those individuals. But they come with brute force and ignorance. They took in a bunch of convicts, a bunch of Phantom Squad murderers and so forth into the village of Plaisance, where they hired as thugs to protect the likes of criminal Jack Gale and others. This is a sad situation. I know you're from Plaisance and a lot of other folks from Plaisance. We can just imagine how they're feeling at the moment.
Yeah, this is definitely devastating to the people of Plaisance. And there are certain families in Plaisance that are involved with the PPP who would have given them insider information. But you know what? Who laughed last is going to laugh the best, you know? Plaisance was one of the villages that was bought by our ancestors. And I encourage the people of Plaisance to continue their vigil, continue to be very frontal in their standing up for their village. Because if you don't stand up for it, it's going to be taken out right on to you.
Absolutely well said, Wayne Caesar here. Just to recap, Jack Dale and his gang of criminals have invaded the village of Plaisance and want to take control of the people of Plaisance. They want to take control of. Sorry about that. Distracted by some messages. They want to take control of the village. The villagers came out in their numbers, and they're saying no. They're not going to accept this disrespect, and rightly so. Rightly so, Mr. Caesar. As I'm looking at some of the comments here, and people are just livid. They're upset about the entire situation. And we appreciate that those who are brave enough to go out and stand up to protect their village by every legal means necessary.
And Mark, you know what? And listen, some of the men really started to, let their displeasure be heard, because these guys have been sitting there and just watching their rights being trampled upon. And they remind one guy was key to remind us of the days that the police could not put on their uniform. You see, we don't want the citizenry to go around disrespecting the police, but I feel that the police are disrespecting the citizens, man. They're not treating them with the respect that they should be treating them with. They're following the rules that the government is laying down before them. The police need to act lawfully. They
Well,
are laws in place.
the police need to act lawfully. Unfortunately, though, they are not acting lawfully, and they do not, for the most part, act lawfully under the PPP regime. The police become an arm of the PPP. They go out and they do dirty works on behalf of the PPP. They persecute people under the PPP regime. Some of them may say, man, with y'all, I don't like it. But at the end of the day, they take illegal orders to go and persecute people, as what we're seeing happening right now in Plaisance.
Correct, Mark. I totally agree with you on that point. The PPP, they knew that they would meet resistance in Plaisance. Hence the reason they came heavy, with all these characters as part of their group, and it's funny because how do we have government officials who receive taxpayers' money, who taxpayers pay their salary, walking around with criminals? Isn't that crazy?
No, and not only that too, Wayne. Known criminals, convicts, drug lords, murderers, you name it. All these death squad people. I mean, come on, man. This is becoming more and more ridiculous.
You know, Mark, I don't know what it is that the PPPC is trying to do. I think they're trying to bring the country into a civil war, and that's something I don't want to see. I don't want to see because it's going to bring about loss of life, and I don't want anybody to lose their life. Period.
But you
No
know,
citizen should lose their life. Period. We've already had enough
in
bloodshed
in,
across
in a
Guyana, Mark, for the last 3 years. I've never seen as much bloodshed in that country as the last 3 years.
in a struggle, fighting against dictators, fighting against oppressors, some things are inevitable. But let me say this to you: this whole event was well orchestrated. It was staged to have some form of distraction from the alleged rapist situation. Notice people blank out from the Dharamlal situation and into this corrupt situation right now, where Jack Dew likes to divert attention. He likes people to look in another direction. The situation with the situation with Dharamlal, it is still there.
That is correct, Mark. That situation is still present. We haven't forgotten. We haven't forgot our 20 angels from Madia. We haven't forgot the young man who was hanging, from the overpass on the East Bank. We haven't forgotten anyone, and we will not forget anybody. So this smoke screen that they're trying to use Plaisance to throw there will not deter us, from keeping this government, accountable and keeping them on the back foot. They're still on the back foot. They're just trying to be abusive to the Guyanese people. But the world is watching. Social media puts all these things live out there, and the world can see. This is not a government. There is no government in Guyana. Guyana is being governed by a terrorist organization.
This is a distraction. If the people and Jagdeo, what they like to do is to find distraction so that they can take people's minds off from one situation to the next. They may arrest a couple of people tonight. They may try to bulldoze people's stuff tomorrow so that they can divert attention from the ridiculous decision that the DPP is set to make. They haven't made it today. They issued a statement which is suspect, but this is a distraction. Jagdir knows exactly what he's up to. He's evil, he's a criminal, and he loves to call people criminal. He loves that. But Jagdir is the biggest criminal, not only in Guyana, but in the entire Caribbean.
I cannot agree with you. I cannot disagree with you on that at all, Mark. His criminal actions continue. He just would not leave. Jack Dio, you would have had 23 plus 3 years. You're still terrorizing the people of Guyana. You need to leave the people alone. You need to stop walking into the Afro Guyanese communities and trying to impose your will. You have no right there. You have no right there. Stop disrespecting Afro Guyanese. In particular, I know you have a few Afro Guyanese on that installed government, but no, those are soup drinkers. Those are not real Afro Guyanese.
House slaves. Now let's look at this from this standpoint. Look at the quality of so-called black folks that walked in there with Ramson. Look at those folks who walked in there with Jack Deere. Most of them are criminals. Most of them are convicts. They are criminals and convicts and death squad members and killing squad members. That's who they are. And those are the people who they walk into these communities to intimidate people. But the question is, how much longer are people going to sit and take that sort of nonsense? How much longer? That's it. How much longer? We're watching. We're watching.
Well, Mark, when you would have messed with a village like Plaisance, I can tell you it's not going to be much longer. There is going to be repercussions to this. You bulldoze that line top and you remove those vendors from that line top, there is going to be repercussions. I would have lived most of my life in Plaisance, and I'm telling you, there will be repercussions to that. Pleasance
Well,
people is not the people that you want to mess with
we're
in that type of.
we are
We're not encouraging anything, Mark. But I am telling you, based on what I've known, based on what I have seen as a young man growing up, this is not going to go down easy. The people
well,
of
we are
Pleasance did.
watching. We are watching. We can only say we're observing.
Yep.
Whatever the repercussions are, we are watching because for far too long people are sitting down and they're accepting this sort of oppression coming from Jack Deere and his criminal gang. If the leaders on the ground can't take the lead, well, people in the communities will take that lead and fill that gap where it needs to be filled because as of now, we are seeing the young people, we are seeing some young politicians who are not members of parliament, who are not officials, senior officials within the party. And here is where some people may suck their teeth. But I'm not too bothered about those who suck their teeth. Here is where we need true leadership on the ground. As we look to wrap up, because we will definitely be back at 9 o'clock, Wayne, closing remarks before we go, sir.
Well, Mark, I don't know presently where the leader of the opposition is, but I know he is from Pleasant. And, I would have expected him to just pop out there to see what's going on with the people. But, he might not be in the village at this time. I'm not sure where he is at this time. So I don't want to, say that he should be out there when he's not even in the village presently. But if he is, he should be out there, with the people. And I expect to see a few of the MPs show up there. It was nice to see Mr. Darren Wade there, mingling with the people and even trying to get in to, see, try to find out what's actually going on. Because listen, Mark, it's unfair for you to rent a crowd, bring them into Pleasance, take them into one of our schools in Pleasance, having a meeting. They're doing all the input. The people who live in the village is not a part of the meeting. And then when you're finished, you're going to go and report on the news that we would have met with the people of Pleasance. That's not right, Mark. You cannot do that. It's not
Cer-
fair.
Certainly, we cannot do that, but we want the leadership to be out there. A lot of these guys are missing in action, and unfortunately, that's not what we're looking for. That's not the sort of representation people are looking for. But we are hoping that we are beginning to see a little light at the end of the tunnel. Uh, we are seeing quite a few of the MPs out there. They are protesting. Some of them are in front of GCOM. Some of them are in front of Office of the President. Some of them are in front of the DPP chambers. And with that, we say kudos to those MPs. We know who they are. We see them every day. And we see the likes of Simona Brooms, and we see others out there. Member of Parliament Roysdale Ford. We see Annette Ferguson. We're seeing them. And surprisingly, or maybe not surprisingly, we saw today Cathy Hughes, Member of Parliament representing the AFC. Not sure where she was all the time, but she came out today after 1 week of this situation with the alleged rapist. She got out today and she finally lent her voice to this entire situation with Darren Lal. So, Cathy Hughes, if she's watching, at least thank you for finally coming out. Your closing remarks before we go, please, Mr. Caesar.
Yeah, Mark, I would just say to the people of Pleasance, keep your heads up, keep the heat on the PPPC. Do not allow them to come and infiltrate the village of Pleasance. It is a village that was bought by our foreparents, and we intend to defend it. Even if we have to, things are going to happen, defend it with our life because it belongs to us.
Thank you so much.
And Mr.
Yep.
Jack, do you have some nerve, Mark, to come into an Afro-Guyanese village, and try to impose his will? We need to, this guy need to stop coming into our villages and just walking in and thinking that he and Ramson and them, they're welcome there. You guys are not welcome into Pleasance. I just want to make that point, Mark. Thank you.
Thank you so much, Mr. Caesar. Appreciate it. I noticed some people are saying that Cathy Hughes had the flu and what. There are many nights I come on the air here too for over an hour, 2 hours, sometimes of the flu, sometimes a toothache, sometimes hungry, sometimes eyes running water. And that is part of the struggle. And our elected officials, I'm not saying people can get sick, but there are a lot of times we are sick and we we get on the air and we do what we have to do. Anyways, thank you so much as always, Wayne. I'll see you later on this evening. And to all our listeners, see you guys later. God bless.
Thank you, Mark.
Thank you.
You guys later.